Okay, continuing on with Remembrance of the Cousin. So this is these next things on my list is during a time when um my cousin was at my place after my family had moved to Wisconsin. So I was living in Minnesota in town, and then we moved to Wisconsin, where it was like out in the country. Uh, it was a ranch style home, and it was um, a home that it used to be a farm home. So I'm not sure uh, what animals were on this farm because it hadn't been a farm. Uh, it hadn't been used as a farm for many years. Uh, when we moved there, an old woman was living there, so I think her her family had been using it as a farm, but she was just an old woman by herself living in this actually a pretty big house for an old woman. So when we moved there, it was just the big. It was definitely bigger than the house we lived in before. So it's a big ranch style house, and we had much bigger yard. We in Minnesota, we had a yard, but it was just like this small yard in the backyard, a little bit of grass in the front yard. But in Wisconsin, we had this huge, definitely by comparison, this huge yard. So a lot of area to run around in, and we had some trees, and there was this one building. Not sure what it was for, because somebody else owned this building and some of the land, some of the yard, and then there was this big barn that he owned this, and then he owned, well, there was an old silo which was empty. I remember going and playing in this barn a few times. Um, there was this one section of the barn that was used for storing I think they were old cars. And the barn was, I guess the barn was used for cows, but I'm not sure because it was just vacant for many years. So my cousin came over a few times to this home of our after my family had moved to Wisconsin, and so he was still living in Minnesota. There was this one time that my cousin, I was surprised because he biked over unexpectedly. He just showed up at my house in Wisconsin. He just he biked over, and I was thinking, you biked all the way from Minnesota to Wisconsin? So we were on the border with with the Mississippi River, but it was still like it's not too far for driving, but for biking, quite a ways. Not sure the miles. Um, I don't remember. For driving, I'm trying to guess here. How long did it take to drive? Maybe like 10 to 15 minutes to drive from where we lived in Wisconsin to the Minnesota border, the border of Minnesota. So for biking, I don't know. If he had really biked from where he lived to where I lived, I'm thinking it would have taken like an hour or so. So I don't know if he was just messing with me. But at the time, I was like, I just took his word for it. Like, what? You biked all the way from where you live? I suppose it is possible, but it would have taken a very long time for him to do that. But I didn't realize, or I didn't consider, I guess I vaguely knew that he had some other relatives that were like on his other side of his family that were, that lived in Wisconsin also, but like, so not too far from where I lived in Wisconsin. So I think he might have been messing with me. I think maybe he just came over from this other cousin of his that wasn't my cousin. So he might have done that. He might have biked over from someone else's in Wisconsin. Possibly. Maybe he had a bike over there that he just, unless he really did bike all the way from Minnesota. That's quite the accomplishment that if he did that. Pretty impressive. Hmm. So I don't remember how many times he actually visited me in Wisconsin, but I have a few memories of when he was over. One of them, very bad memory. Somebody got hurt. But before I talk about that, um, one of the times that my cousin was over, we biked to the town, which was like 5 miles, about 5 miles. Yeah, I think our former farm ranch style home, we were like about 5 miles away from the town in Wisconsin where I went to school, uh, elementary and junior high school. I went to high school farther away. So me and my cousin, we biked to the town to a mart. I think it might have been called. I don't know if I have this name right because there were a couple places. There was like a gas station. I think the gas station was called Mini Mart, but then there was this other place that was like a mart, but it wasn't a gas station, and that's where we went. I think it was like it had a funny name like Come and Go or Stop and Shop. Maybe it was Stop and Shop. Stop, stop, in apostrophe in shop. I think it was Stop and Shop. Yeah, so Mini Mart was the gas station. So we didn't go to the gas station. We went to the Stop and Shop. Yeah, I think I'm right on this. Me and my cousin. So we biked down to this Stop and Shop little store town, and I saw something which I never saw before. So at the time I was like, "Oh, that's different." But now I'm thinking, "Oh, that's gross. Very sad." So we were picking up some food for my sister at this Stop and Shop. I guess my sister had given my cousin some money, and we were going to buy some food for her. I don't know why. So it must have been, yeah, I guess my sister was still living at home before she graduated and moved away. So maybe she didn't have a car at the time. So I don't know why were we getting it for her? Why didn't she get it herself? I'm not sure. But we were getting some food for my sister that she gave my cousin money for. Yeah, we saw this stuff. She used to be living animals, but became just objects, unfortunately. Broasted chicken. So it was in this Stop and Shop. So it was like this rotisserie thing. This thing, this like heated thing, and it was just like I think it was like rotating. Maybe it wasn't rotating, but it was like it might have been. So it was this heated thing where this broasted chicken was in. I'd never heard the word broasted before. I guess it's a combination of roasted and broiled? Broasted. So at the time, I wasn't like too bothered by it. I just thought it was a little unusual. But I wasn't, because like, so now being vegan now, I would never eat anything like that because since I don't eat animal products. Having empathy for the animals that died. But at the time, I never considered that as an option because I was always told that we need to eat animal products for protein, which is not true. But that's what I was told at the time. So my cousin bought this roasted chicken for my sister. Uh, I don't remember. He might have got something else, but for her, but it might have been just that. My sister wanted some roasted chicken, apparently. Gross. Uh, so we after we picked it up, we were outside, and I remember I saw my cousin. He opened it up, so it was in this like probably styrofoam container, and there it was, the roasted chicken. And my cousin just started eating it, and I'm thinking, "Hey, what are you?" Well, I wasn't just thinking. I said something. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you eating that? That's not. That's for my sister." And my cousin said, "Oh, she won't care. She won't mind if I have some." So I was thinking, like, wouldn't she care if I did it? Why would she not care if you did it? Uh, so I guess she didn't care. I didn't hear her yelling about it afterwards. But I just thought that was kind of funny. My cousin could just eat some of her food and she won't care.